Hello, everyone. This is Vivian with My Spiritual GPS. And today, our topic is emotions that show up when you decide to uplevel your life. So, the question there is, what is spiritual GPS? So, spiritual GPS is a way for you to navigate your life and understand where you are and where you want to be. And all of us are probably in one specific location, one specific situation at this point in time. And sometimes we can't see through the forest because the trees are so thick, or maybe the problems and the situations and even the emotions that we're feeling are consuming us, and we don't know exactly what it is that we need to do next. So we're here to give you solutions, whether it's an overarching view of what the situation is, or perhaps your next step in order for us to help you navigate your own spiritual GPS. Because when you're in alignment, mind, body, spirit, everything flows with ease and grace. So thank you for watching our show today. This is your host, Vivian S. de Guzman. I am a human MRI, and they call me the #1 money magnet activator. And today we have special guests from our TWI team, or Transformational Wellness International. After we hosted our Uplevel 2021 event last Saturday, it was called Morph and Grow. Morph means like a butterfly, right? You metamorphosize and you transform from, you think you're like a little hibernating caterpillar. Well, that's a pupa if you're hibernating, but you could be a caterpillar, like a youngin in your life or in your business, and then eventually you want to be this butterfly that transforms. So I want to welcome today my two special people in my life in TWI and TWA. First is Andrea Kuchin, who is our accountability coach, and also Vienna Dunham, who is our emotion code practitioner. Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome. I know, as if we haven't seen each other. We just saw each other 2 days ago. So I wanted to share with the group here, what is it? Andrea, I know that you've been with me since what? How many years back, right?
A long time, yeah.
A long time, right? And Andrea has been such a pillar in a way in my business, because she's very good at holding people's hands and really giving them a different picture, a lot more objective picture sometimes, because we get emotional when it's about our own business, right? I mean, believe it or not, we become emotional, especially the women. Especially the women. It's like, it's my baby. Please make sure you take care of it. Yes, and we need to shed off a lot of sometimes mindset stuff, a way of thinking, a way of doing, because the way we were before is not the same way as we are now in present, or if we would like to really achieve that success, it's completely different, right? So Andrea, why don't you share a little bit about you and your experience just with the Uplevel this Saturday? Like, share with us, what did you see with the audience that we've had? We've had a few people transitioning from employee to entrepreneurs. And yeah, can you share a bit about that?
Yes. The questions that they were asking seemed to have the same kind of threads. They need clarity on who they're talking to, how they present themselves, and a plan of action steps to take to get them to where they want to go. Doing my accountability, which I've been doing I've been calling myself an accountability coach for, 6 or 7 years now. You need, when you have clear steps, even down to the daily details of these are the things I need to do today, it does two things. First of all, it moves you forward, But secondly, it reduces your stress in the same way that if you don't know where you're going, you're getting in your car and you need to drive somewhere and you don't know where you're going to go. Somebody gives you a map, or you put it into your phone and you see, okay, it's going to take me 17 minutes to get to that place.
Yeah.
Stress is relieved because you know that that machine is going to tell you every step of the way where to go. Now,
Yeah.
in your business, there isn't a machine that's going to tell you every step. And there isn't a person who's going to do that either. There,
Yes.
there is you making your decisions, figuring out your path. Now, it helps to have someone else to bounce ideas around, to talk to when your experiment worked, and to talk to when your experiment didn't work, to figure out what to do next, to create a map so that you know on a daily basis what your steps are. And I always say, you know, if you've got things that have to be done every day, get them done by 11, and then you can go and play or do your other stuff or whatever you want to do. So I try to avoid stress by being clear about where we're going and how we're going to get there.
Beautiful.
Emotion still comes up, which is where you come in.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, you're saying prevention is better than cure. So at least, you know how some people, we fight the system, right? So think about the educational system. They said there's 6 grades in elementary, then there's a middle school, and then there's a high school, then there's a college. And people say, oh, they have this way of doing it, and it's not right. You know, some people complain. There are some people like that. I think I'm one of them. But that's why you find a different way. By the way, this year, 2021, is all about community building. Okay, so we can't be a lone ranger anymore. Like last year, I try to work by myself, but it doesn't work like that. I was so grateful that I had an astrologer who was our videographer, one of the videographers last Saturday, right, Rich Jarvis, and he was helping me see my future. It is nice to have, okay, what's your past, what's your present, what's your future. It is nice to see all that. So obviously in our community, we have that kind of help, right? So we're not just looking at what you're doing, we're looking at the strategy of how you're doing it. We're also looking at emotions. And then our team also looks at, well, what's the astrological things that are happening, so we can either prepare for things properly. And I know one thing he said to me was last year, your chart looks like you're going to need a lot more structure and foundation for 2021. But if you get started in 2020, it's going to be easier for you. And he was right. You see, that piece of information for me was valuable. Well, if I didn't listen to it, that'll be another problem, right? So please don't hire someone and then you don't listen to them. Take a look at what they're saying, because if you don't know that field, that's why you ask for a mentor or a coach to help you out, right? Because if you're the only one alone, you don't see the blind spots.
Right.
Am I correct?
Totally correct.
I mean, you're driving. It's not like there are no cars. I can pretend there are no cars on the road, but that's not the reality of life. Is there are cars when you're driving on the road anywhere you go, even if it's like 4 o'clock or 2 o'clock in the morning, there will be cars. I noticed that, right? So it is nice to have a mentor who knows their stuff. Therefore, you can get their input. And again, you have to receive and respond to that message. Otherwise, I've heard other people would complain about their coaches, but the question is, when you look at yourself, are you listening? Are you listening to whatever advice you got, or at least looking at it, right? Like, how will that change my life? So if you haven't done it yet, I haven't seen anybody successful that has done it alone.
No.
And especially, like I said, 2021 is all about community. So that's what we're building, is because when you don't have a community, you don't have a sounding board. Like it's nice that I can talk to Andrea and I'm like, am I doing this correctly? It's like, oh, you can look at it differently this way, then they can give you that input. So yeah, thank you. And last week you talked about when you're planning, right? So I've done it myself, so I understand what you're saying. But can you explain to them what is the importance of, so what if you have a plan for a year? And then how do you break it down so that they can actually have something that they are empowered to take action on?
Right. Yes. So I would break a year down into quarters so that you're dealing with 90-day segments. Right. And then work within that 90 days, because 90 days is not too far away to know what you're going to be doing in that period. 90 days is not so small that you can't see a change happening in that 90-day period.
Right.
And so it's a good, I know it's not the midpoint between a year, but it's a good point to take. A 90-day bite is a chewable piece, whereas a year is too much. It's good to know where you want to be at that point, but it's too far to map out in one go.
And then how do you break that 90 days? So obviously that's what we provided in Uplevel, right? And we even use angel cards or oracle cards because we wanted divine guidance for each one of them, because my message may be different than your message. And that's what's important, right? It's a group dynamic, but it's personalized based on your own guidance system, not my own. We'll give you the tools. However, you have your own path and purpose in your journey. May be different than mine or Andrea's or Vienna's. And so the more you know how to use these tools, the better it's going to be. So after 90 days, Andrea, what happens? So let's say they have a map. What do they do? How do they break down the 90 days further?
Well, you can probably break that into month sections, because 90 days is going to be 3 months. It's actually about 13 weeks because most months are a little over 4 weeks. Okay. So you break that down and then you break it down into weeks. So the example that I give to start off with is if somebody gave you a book that had 1,000 pages and they said you had to read it in 4 weeks. You know that 1,000 pages divided by 4 is 250. So you've got to read 250 pages a week. Now, you might decide that you're only going to read on work days, which is 5 days. 250 divided into 5 days would be 50 pages a day, right? So you know the very, very clear, absolutely unshakable datum based on the law of the universe is that if you read 50 pages a day, you will have completed 1,000 pages in 4 weeks. But you might get a day where you only do 30. So you've got 20 pages left. Now, what do? Do you do 20 extra ones the next day? Do you spread the 20 out over the remaining days? Do you take a Saturday to do those 20? Or do you do 10 on a Saturday and 10 on a Sunday to catch up? Because you know that you've got to do 50 a day, you know what your options are and you get to choose. If you didn't know how many pages you had to read, you might get to the end of 4 weeks and you're only halfway through the book.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Depending on the person, right? For me, if I really love the book, I'm probably going to finish half of it, like sometimes in one day, just because I'm like, oh my God, I love this thing, so I'll keep on reading. And I think that's kind of my way. I'm a generator, so I jumpstart everything. So then after a while, I'm like, okay, I'm done with what's next, right? So a lot of us generators and manifesting generators, we love to do the work. And then I'm like, okay, how come everybody else is relaxing? What's going on over here?
Sorry, the doorbell just went and my dog's trying to let me know.
No worries. Okay, so yes, so that will make it more bite-sized, like you said, manageable, so that you can actually handle stresses better. Like you prevent stress altogether when you're doing that. And that's what our team does, is to really help them find that zone, right? Because some people love to experiment. Some people are fast, some people are super slow, and then eventually they catch up. But I know deadlines make you rush. That I know.
Right.
I've experienced that.
That's
I think that's normal for everyone.
That's all stressful though, Vivian.
Yeah, it
When you
is.
when you charge into something and work extra hard and then you get deflated,
Yeah.
that can be stressful. Having a deadline and then suddenly realizing it's about to come up, that can be stressful too. And that's what I'm trying to avoid by breaking it down to daily steps.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you for that. Yeah, and that's why we love you for that as our accountability coach, because you let us look at things a little bit more objectively rather than, oh my God, the emotions is a roller coaster up and down, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Andrea. So now we're going to bring up Vienna. So that's Andrea Kuchin, our accountability coach. And she's always been there, by the way, to really help you plan and make you accountable, right? Like you said you were going to do this. What happened next, right? So, by the way, what happens to people? Oh, before I bring you off the stage, when people, what do people normally do, right? Let's say you said, okay, I promise I'm going to read this 1,000-page book in 4 weeks, but then I didn't. What are the things that come up for people when they promise something to themselves and they did not fulfill it?
They feel bad. And they
Okay.
get stressed out because they know that they should have done it. And then the worse it gets, the worse it gets. And then when it comes to they decided to run a business and they decided to hire a coach, they'll then decide the coach isn't any good and they weren't cut out to run a business and they better stay in the job that they're in, or they better stay broke or something.
Wow.
The pain of, I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but the pain of not doing what you said you were going to do is just about the biggest pain that we ever experience, which is why it's so important to protect ourselves from that possibility, which is why you get up, it doesn't matter how you feel, you do your first few things, have them done by 11 o'clock, and then you can crawl back into bed if you're having a bad day, or go to the beach if the sun's shining, or whatever it is, but you know that your important stuff is done.
So the breakdown of the integrity basically robs us of our own commitment to what we say we're going to do. Like if we're going to build a business, but then we didn't do it, then we blame other people or other situations or instances because we didn't do it.
Yes.
Ouch! That's why there's a lot of failed businesses.
It
if
is.
you look at it, then they blame the pandemic and they blame the government and they blame the coaches or the mentors, or oh, they charge too much, or like, oh my lordy. So that's the side effect of lack of integrity to what you said you were going to do or what you thought you were going to do. By the way, integrity for me, I make it simple. I just say integrity means you're aligned in what you think, what you say, and what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's easier to just point fingers and say, she didn't do it. But when they never look at themselves, right? So I always look at this pointy one finger toward the person, but there's 3 toward me. So, so I guess we have to ask ourselves, what can we own in the decisions that we've made?
Yes.
Oops. Wow, that is powerful. Thank you for that. Thank you. All right, so now I'm going to bring in Miss Vienna. Okay, so let me remove that part and just, Vienna is our emotion code practitioner. Hi, Miss Vienna. Hold on a second. We will unmute the mic for you. So Vienna is our emotion code practitioner. She actually came to California to attend Uplevel 2021. And then she went with Teddy to Texas right now. She's visiting Teddy because Vienna is from Kansas, by the way. So Vienna got to enjoy the beach with me over the weekend. We went to Newport Beach. It was fun. And Vienna saw the different emotions because she's been with me here now with TWI for a few months, and she has seen the different emotions that come up even for herself, right? When you decide to be a business owner from being an employee, right? What are the usual emotions that come up
That's a great question.
that make you like, oh, I don't know about this. I don't know if I want to be an entrepreneur. Do I really want this? Can you please share with the audience
Mm-hmm.
what came up for you and even the other people that you've been treating?
Mm-hmm.
We'll just keep their names anonymous, but go ahead.
Exactly. I want to piggyback off something that you just were talking with Andrea about that lack of integrity. So one of the things that you taught me, Vivian, is there's two kinds of guilt. There's the kind where I'm not meeting my own standard, or where somebody else puts a standard and I'm not meeting that. And the one that matters is my own standard.
Yes.
So either kind can get trapped, and we can have to release it with emotion code, with a sweep over the governing meridian.
Mm-hmm.
And just, it's been such a revelation to me about how somebody else's standard does not need to create guilt for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to be aligned with my own standard, or change the goal. If I'm consistently not meeting it, then I need to do a reality check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I may be being unrealistic. I might be being a firstborn, trying to please everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I've tried that people-pleasing behavior. I mean, try it, you guys. Stand on your head, like put your head down and do a headstand. If somebody told you do a headstand, right? And then see if you can make them happy. I don't know. I've tried that a few times. It doesn't quite work. No one can make the other person happy. Well, you can decide what makes you happy and do those things, right?
Yeah. So. That's very empowering when I decide to be happy and do it. So
I mean, we can take that extreme. So, right. So anyway,
and in balance.
Other things. So, can you please reveal to us some of the emotions? Like, okay, I'm an employee, for example, and I want to leave my job, but I'm not sure. I don't know what to do. But in my head, because by the way, our heart is bigger as far as energy signature. Mm-hmm. It reaches farther than our head. FYI, just to let you know. So even if you're thinking, and you're trying to repeat the same thought over and over again, your heart will always win over your head.
Yep.
I just want to share with you that fact. It's a reality even in energetics. So it doesn't matter what you think, but if you feel a certain way, especially you're a woman, we feel a lot. We have fluctuations of our emotions, right? What is the first what are the things, like feelings, that people feel when they're transitioning from employee to finally, I want to be an entrepreneur?
That's such a great question, Vivian. And I'll share some of them that came up in Uplevel 2021.
Yes.
I found 8 trapped emotions that were common to the group, that each person in the group shared. And the first one was shock.
Shock.
Oh, deer in the headlights.
No. Okay.
Yep. And it can be all the way back to childhood. It can be when the day we're born. That's one of the common instances of shock, is that shock from my warm, safe place into what's this cold, hard world? What, nothing's ever been but soft and warm for me before, and now here I am. So that's a very common one. Another is worthless, and its cousin, unworthy. And
worthless. Oh my God. So why do people feel worthless when they're about to do something bigger than what they're doing? I don't understand that. That is really an unconscious thought, right? Or an unconscious emotion.
Right. So we may come into it with high energy thinking, I'm ready, I've got this. And we've got some cheerleaders beside us, and we've done some inner healing. And then it takes about one thing that reminds us of a shock in the past or a worthless in the past. And all of a sudden, there we are, the whole mudslide comes down over us, and we're just revisiting it. We're right back in that moment. So the thing that I've come to be in touch with now, which to me is just so helpful. Is before I was programmed, and not in the bad
Yep,
way, just
yep, yep.
come on, get up, it's time to go to work. I
Mhm.
cannot listen to myself. I have to listen to my alarm clock and then my boss and then, the clients and whoever. So when I come to realize what is triggering me, or that I'm even being triggered,
Yep.
then I can go to my tools. Then I can stop and breathe. Then I can check in and see which part of me is out of alignment. Then I can check for a trapped emotion and clear it. And you
Mhm.
recognize that you have tools. So that's been probably the greatest eye opener for me this year.
Yeah.
I've been doing emotion code for a year and a quarter,
Mhm.
and it was so transformative that I was already transitioning into my own business, but felt completely powerless to make anything happen. I would try,
Wow.
I'd slip backwards. I'd try again, I'd slip backwards, right? And so when I had done enough emotion code to realize what my stuck places were and release them, then I could notice, oh my goodness, I feel triggered. And it happened just this morning.
Wow!
And I was able to release it. I went on a bike ride. It sounds simple. Okay. I mean, that
Yes.
sounds awesome. And it triggered some previous bike rides with someone that I didn't enjoy bike riding with.
Oh my gosh! And to think about, that was a normally pleasurable activity or
Exactly.
leisure. Like, you're not trying to get to a destination, right? Well,
No.
just like a business. You know how you start and you just pedal the bike and hopefully you get there. You're thinking, if you know your destination, that's why Andrea's here, right? To help. You said you were going to go there,
Right.
but then the actions that you took, I remember that there were some clients that said, I want to get a few $1,000,000. All right, good. So this is the plan, but then no action. So the action, maybe emotionally they're not quite ready, or mentally they're not quite ready. And partly that's the reason why, see, all of us, physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, psychically, and spiritually, have to be all in the same bike ride. Otherwise, you
Oh,
left
that's
your
so good.
other cousin with you, or your other sister, and you're like, but wait a minute. Well, where's that person? That's supposed to be the one taking care of this. How come he or she is not here?
Right?
Oh my God. It's also the same as forming a team, FYI. Because you
Yep.
know how if you don't do staff meetings, that's why we do our staff meetings. Because people have different perception. And even we were having a meeting Monday. Jade, our business manager, said something, but I interpreted it differently. And then I said, Lou, is that what she said? I don't quite understand. You know how that miscommunication. So then I said, can you email? We talk, and then we email one another and we ask clarifying questions so that everyone is on the same page. Because guess what? If I'm the CEO and the boss, I'll probably say, oh, I'm just going to override that because this is how I understood it. How do you think the other person would feel? They won't feel good, right? So, but if I ask her, is this what you meant? This is how I understood. So there's back and forth communication.
Yep.
Now we're talking because we're at the same level. It doesn't mean I'm the CEO that I could override everybody. That doesn't work very good, by the way, for a team. It's called a team. It doesn't have the ITEAM, right? It doesn't have the I in the middle anywhere. So we really have to figure out the values of the group and then make it work according to what we chose as the values, what's important for all of us. That's how a team works, by the way.
That's so good. I
But
want
anyway,
to share
I
one
jumped
other.
into the team. So go ahead and share the other emotions you found out with people up leveling.
One of the biggest, Vivian, was indecisiveness.
Oh
And
Lordy.
oh, and that can be something that we can say, just make a decision. We can try to railroad our way through something, and that doesn't work that well because then you're certainly not tuning into your intuition. If you're
Yeah.
forcing it, you're trying to make a timeline happen. And so it's it's one of those cases where you have to slow down to speed up.
Yes.
Slow down and listen in order to run forward. So
Yep.
that indecisiveness trigger can take you all the way back to something in childhood where you made a decision and it didn't turn out so well. You decided to take your brother's bike and you wrecked it, and then you had to pay for it, and you go, oh my goodness, I guess I'm not up for decisions.
Yep.
And that can sabotage us until we deal with it.
Ouch. Okay.
Yep.
So what other emotions came up for the group?
Guilt was another one.
Oops.
And fear was huge, as you might guess.
Mm-hmm.
And there was another one that was very curious to me. It was jealousy. And one of the slants on that, it can be that we were jealous of someone else, but at least 50% of the time what I see is that someone else was jealous of us. And so we internalized it, right? And so then it kind of makes it where I'm afraid to stick my head up because somebody might come along and whack it. So do I want to be seen if somebody else is going to be jealous and I'm going to lose a friend?
And one of our participants, I remember she shared with us that she posts on Instagram right. But she doesn't put her picture anywhere. How can you have a business? By the way, I had the same symptom when I started my Feel Better Rehab physical therapy. I had this card, okay? I had a card made, a business card, with the name and the address with, I believe I didn't have any picture of me. I don't even have my name.
Oh my goodness.
I just had the name of the business. I mean, think about hiding, right? And of course, I had a past life incident that, of course, I was killed, beheaded, whatever happened to me in another lifetime that I shouldn't show up because if I stick my head out, I'm going to get killed. So that is a very unconscious emotion.
Exactly.
And you may be hiding. I know a lot of healers do this. You're good at what you do. You actually don't need to read any book to come out. You don't need to be certified. But those are the people with multiple certifications. When I look back at my journey, I probably have 8 modalities under my belt. And now you ask me why I'm so fast. Is because I tried it this angle, this angle, this angle, this angle. And I just go, bzzz, you know how in the computer you just put all the data? And then you go, yep, that's the problem right there. Let's clear that now. And then they're like, what happened? Can you explain to me what you just did? Right? Because I've had all those experiences and the learnings from other people because I was so insecure at that time, hiding behind my title, hiding behind my skills. I mean, think about that. Have you been like that in your life? Because you might be just hiding and it might be time to come out. Because when you come out, you'll be surprised how the world actually needs you. They love to have your services. They love to work with you. But the question is, are you willing to finally extend your hand, be seen, and be known, and clear all these other pesky negative emotions or mindset that you have? Because you're just afraid to, usually they're afraid that their family will abandon them. They don't. You're just thinking it. You're afraid that they're going to criticize and judge you. Those are the things, right? We're afraid of those things. I mean, I've experienced them all, and I can tell you they will not kill you. You're just thinking in your head that it will kill you, but it's not so bad. You will go through something. However, with the right support, you're going to be just fine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I share one more, Vivian?
Yes.
Okay. So one that comes up for just about everybody that I've ever worked with is overwhelm. So
overwhelm.
You can imagine that. So I wanted to invite everyone watching, no matter whether you're live with us now or watching even years later, this is so effective because it's you getting in touch with your own situation and then you can clear it. So the idea is we're bringing an energetic trapped emotion, which is just a ball of energy. And this one's name is overwhelm. And we need to bring it up to conscious mind. So it's hidden possibly in our hearts. That's a very common spot. And we bring it up to our conscious thinking mind, and then kind of get in that feeling. What does that feel like to be overwhelmed? When have I felt overwhelmed lately? And so I'll give you just a few seconds to get in touch with that. Maybe it was, oh my gosh, I'm late to carpool, or oh my goodness, it's time to make another meal. What am I going to make now? You know, it just, the list is endless. Or it's time to go to the grocery store, but I don't know what I need to buy, or I don't know how I'm going to pay for it, or blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just on and on. So get into that feeling for a moment. Be with it. Most emotions will pass by in 1 to 2 minutes. So if you have a new emotion come up, don't be afraid to be with it, because that's the way to let it go by without getting trapped. But we're looking now for an overwhelm that's been trapped. So take a couple of breaths, and we're going to release this trapped emotion of overwhelm. So the way to do it, we've brought it to conscious mind now, and we're going to go over the governing meridian. So it's like you're parting your hair with your fingers, and your fingers are magnetic. That's what's doing the magic here. And let's do 10 sweeps, because this one can be very big. Emotions can even be inherited. So that's the kind of thing we explore when we do a personal session for emotion code. And just for an example, I lost count. I think that was 6, but it doesn't matter. You can do more. You will never hurt yourself releasing trapped emotions. All right, I'm going to do one more for good measure. Move around a little, whatever your body feels like doing. Yep. Chances are your neck's a little looser now. Your heart might feel a little lighter. Sometimes people feel less tension in their shoulders. So the most common reaction of people when they do that is, I feel lighter. So, Andrea, do you have any observations from doing that release?
I think I'm muted. Am
Okay,
I muted?
I can hear you. I can hear
you
you.
can hear me. Good. I just saw a message that said the host had muted me. Yes, I feel lighter, as you said, and like more powerful.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
I love how you're in touch with those nuances. That is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know if Vivian's still online with us, but I'll share.
Oh,
I'm going to share that if you want to check out what Emotion Code is about, there's a free app called The Emotion Code in the App Store. So you can go check it out. It's got the 60 emotions in the first 2 chapters of Dr. Nelson's book.
Awesome. Thank you, Vienna. I wanted to ask you, Vienna, was there hold on a second, let's change that. Here I am doing my own TV production on the side, as you know, multitasking. I'm good at that.
Marvelous job.
Thank you. So I wanted to ask you, because I know you have programs for the group, right? There's such a thing as a heart wall release, and then you're going to come up also for some form of a stress and trauma release coming up for the group who's going to join us with our programs coming up in Uplevel 2021. So can you share with them what happens when you actually go through an emotion code session with the group? Because, you know, we've done a few groups together.
Yes.
Are they going to feel, because you know how you're going to process one person, because I remember one time you were processing my emotions, and then some of the participants have a little bit of the same thing, right? Exactly. It's almost like we're like twins, or we have mirror neurons or something.
Right.
Can you share with them the power of the group? Obviously, my group is a little bit faster than normal.
That's right.
That's what Vienna said. She's like, your group is so fast. It's kind of like they don't even need weeks to process. They need a few hours and they're done.
That's right.
So obviously, whatever energy you carry, like I am pretty fast in the movement, so that if you're stuck, it's a good thing if you want to get unstuck. But why is that? Why do people, like, when I feel something, how come they have a similar experience? Something related, same emotion almost.
Mhm. I have two thoughts on that at the moment. One is that these 60 emotions that Dr. Nelson discovered, and we know there are more emotions than that, but he has found that these 60 will cover basically every needed nuance of emotion. So 60 isn't that many. I have found that I've experienced every single one of these in my lifetime. So that's one way that they can come up with it, even though it was one that we discovered for you. And another is that there's that magnetism, where you tend to attract the people that relate to the way you do things. And so
That's true.
they're
Yep.
fast moving, they're likely to have some of those same types of emotions. Like they may have had a betrayal because, again, that jealousy factor or something. She moves too fast, we got to slow her down,
I know. When I had my Feng Shui master, I always have it like every year or every 2 years. It's exactly what he said. There's some people jealous of you. And I'm thinking, why? I'm not doing anything bad. But like you said, it could be another lifetime experience. It could be they want to slow me down because I'm too fast.
Right.
Who knows, right? Again, it's unconscious and it's not really conscious. So we don't know why we feel a certain way. We just do.
Yep.
It's all good.
And in the end analysis, it doesn't even matter. We only need to find out the amount of information that our others unconscious mind says we need to release it. And it's usually only a few facts. And then when we can release, and we don't even need to
I love the release, by the way. Anyway, thank you, Andrea. And thank you, Vienna. I know Andrea has to go because she has another call. But I do want to invite you all to come to our go to uplevel2021.com. Uplevel 2021 actually is in a Facebook group. You can watch some of the free videos we put out there. Like if you have still a confusion on who's your ideal avatar, because if you have an ideal avatar, well, it's nice to talk to that person, right? You don't need to do marketing and talk to 10 people. Yes, you do it in the physical plane, but your copy, your marketing materials has to communicate to that one person you'd like to invite into your fold. That's really that. You don't need to invite 2,500 people. That's how it looks like physically in the digital age, right? But your copy needs to be so clear, and that's how Amy Lancy, our marketing person, actually does that for us. Is she asked me so many questions to write a copy, okay? And as part of our up level, if you are interested in really learning more about your business and you need either a one-on-one help or you needed this type of container to elevate your frequency and get you to where you're going fast enough so that you can produce the results, please go to amylancy.s.me/connection-call. And she is conducting our free clarity calls this whole week so that we can really help you figure out, at least to clarify, what is it you're looking for? Because sometimes it's just a distraction. Your business may be a distraction because you can't confront things at home. That's one. It could be you really are tired of where you are and you already want to switch from employee to entrepreneurship, but you need the right steps. You need the right team to help you with. Marketing is one way of looking at it, right? But you also maybe need some structure. Maybe you need to free flow. Maybe there's an emotion that's not working for you. That's why you keep on sabotaging yourself. There are plenty of reasons why you do what you do, unconsciously and subconsciously. And when those are gone, it's kind of like you cleared the clutter. And that's why I'm fast, because I could just see it. It's like, why are they going there? I thought they wanted to go here, but then they're walking this way. They're walking to another street. And I'm like, I don't understand. They told me this, but they're saying they're doing something else. Does this make sense to you?
Perfect.
That's what I've observed, okay? So don't shoot the messenger. just because I am reiterating all the facts that I've seen. So we want to be here to help you and assist you in your journey. So if you're finally ready to up level and change your life, because obviously last year is different than this year, if you really want to make something different out of yourself and your business, please connect with us through booking a clarity call with Amy, and we will be more than happy to assist you. All right, I think there is one more. Is it a question? All righty. I think Andrea, do you have a last minute sharing with others? Anything?
Something that I have found that business owners who've been successful all say, and this includes Oprah Winfrey even, that they wouldn't have been able to do it alone.
Please repeat, because I didn't hear that.
That they would not have been able to do it alone. So don't beat yourself up because you didn't get there doing it alone. It's okay to have people to help you. And if you like us, we're your people.
All right. Wow, thank you so much, Andrea and Vienna. And I want to thank Lou in the background monitoring our comments. So thank you so much, everyone. And hope to see you again. Our next up level is actually on May 15. So if you'd like to join us then, start reviewing those videos on who's your ideal avatar, what is it you offer, and how do you market it. And also try Vienna Dunham's emotion code release. She did a demo there in the same website, in the same Facebook group, Uplevel 2021. So you get to experience what our team does and how we rock this business with ease, grace, and flow. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.